Hi everybody and welcome back to Guild Chat. I'm your host Ruby. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. I'm really glad you're here. We are going to be talking to game designer Karl McLain today about the balance update we gave a high-level overview of earlier this week. First though, I have a few other things to share with you. You might remember last week I told you that we're going to start doing a segment at the beginning of every Guild Chat where I find some of your questions, things that you're interested in, things that you're wondering about, and things that some of the teams here in the studio want to share with you guys, and rounding those up and sharing them with you. So I wanted to give you 3 things that I ran around and found out this week. We're going to start with the really heavy-hitting stuff first. People have been asking about the mini arrowhead. Why doesn't it roll? And again, I told you we were going to start with the heavy-hitting stuff, but it was something that I was curious about, so I checked into it. I asked one of the animators, and the answer was actually really simple. The roll that the arrowhead does in-game is a skill, and mini pets don't use skills. That's as simple as it was. I was hoping to give you something really excited and some cool design information, but it's very simple. So if you were wondering, that's why. That's also generally why the mini wyvern doesn't fly. Wyvern, I don't know if we ever got a consensus on that. Okay, you're just adding stuff to the mix. All right, so another question that I saw this week was, we've been talking a lot about gliding in core Tyria this week, and I have seen a lot of you asking if we can glide in World vs. World. So I thought I'd go check up on that. And what the team let me know, I actually have to make sure I get this right. There is no plan right now to add gliding to World vs. World because it would, gliding would be a huge change to how World vs. World functions. And right now the team is really focused on addressing core World vs. World issues like rewards, scoring, and population balance. So they're working on that right now. And bringing gliding to World vs. World would mean they'd have to stop working on some of those things or pull back on some of those things, and they are really wanting to keep their focus on that right now. So that's the deal with that. And finally, I spent some time chatting with our customer support, QA, and QA engineering teams, and they had some stuff to pass on to you that I found pretty interesting. One thing that QA told me was that they get between 400 and 1,000 bug reports every day, which just super overwhelms me. Most of them are duplicate reports of things that they already knew about, but there is good stuff in there. I'm not telling you please stop sending bug reports, but you guys want the bugs fixed. You want your customer support issues addressed quickly. So I talked to all of them about what can you guys do on your end to be kind of helpful with that. And they gave me some things to round up and give you that will help sort through bug reports and customer support issues faster. The first thing you need to do for any problem you're having in game is type /bug in game. I keep finding that a lot of people don't know you can do that, is /bug, and that will call up a little window that thank you, Mark. That will call up a window that has 3 buttons that are actually links to the things that will help you. First one is known issues and the Guild Wars 2 forums. Go here first, always. Remember how I said that all of those support tickets, a lot of those bug reports are duplicates of things that we already know about, which means that if you check the forums, you might find that people are already talking about this. You may also find a workaround or a fix that will get you back up and running and past whatever bug you've run into. So that is always going to be your first shot. If you have suggestions or feedback, if something feels off or if there's something that you think could be done better, also click that first button. And balance problems or feedbacks, head to the forum. Feedbacks, that's a word now.
Yes.
All right.
Good.
Yeah. So if you don't see your issue already on the forums, it's time to use one of the other buttons. Customer support has a lot of tickets that are bug reports, and QA gets a lot of bug reports that are support tickets. And that's a lot like asking me to fix the game. It's not helpful for you at all. They spend a lot of their time that they could be spending fixing those issues, weeding these things out. So they actually gave me a little rundown of what option to use for what kind of thing. So let's take a look at that really quickly, and then you've got it handy for screenshot purposes. If you have customer support issues, when to contact customer support? If you accidentally deleted a character that was holding stuff you wanted to keep, because yes, we've all done it. If you bought something off of the trading post or gem store by mistake, if you see someone hacking or cheating, if you need reimbursement for an item that is missing, if you need a gem refund on an item, if someone has scanned you, and I feel like Michael gave me that last thing, and I feel like maybe that comes from experience. If you had a drunken inventory cleaning fest, those are customer support things. Things that are not customer support issues and things that are bug reports are if something is broken, like an event stops working, if a skill or an item is flat not working, if something is actually broken, not you feel like it's unbalanced, but it's actually broken. If you find an exploit, and now if you find one and you have a lot of video or screenshots to share, you can also use the exploit@arena.net email. One more thing that they did ask me to share is that it's good to report a bug where you are when you saw the bug. Don't move, just do the bug report there, because the bug tool pulls what we call a world state, and you can use that to go, and we can use that to go straight to where your character is and point the camera to what you were looking at when it happened. So that helps them get back in there very, very quickly and check it out. So that's our answers to questions and our helpful stuff for the week. And
those are awesome.
Are they?
Yeah, they're
so
really useful.
Once I finally learned how to use them, then people were giving me world states like on the dev client, so I could go see things. And
yeah,
they're
they're
the best.
Very much fun to use.
It saves a ton of time instead of like, okay, so yeah, I was in Queendale, past the third hill on the left. Just do the bug report. It's all
Gotta
good.
stand on the pillar to the right.
Yeah. And if you turn 15 degrees this way,
facing the sun at noon.
great. Yes, this all takes a whole lot of time. All right, so we have been talking all week about our plans for the upcoming January 26th build. Super exciting. I am looking forward to everything in there.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff that we're looking forward to.
We really did. We really did. One of the things was the balance preview. You kind of gave us a high-level look at it. We want to go into a little more detail today. So why don't we jump right in, because we've already talked a whole bunch. Why don't we jump in and start with, can you tell us about some of the general things that you want to do?
Yeah, so like when we put the blog out, it was very, very high level. We didn't want to give any specifics because that kind of gets you caught up on thinking about just like, what about this number? What about this number? And so we wanted to get it out there and let people like, talk about it. Like, what could this do? And then, today is for a few of those numbers to come out, and we're going to talk about some of that stuff. With that being said, I guess we'll jump into like the first general side of things.
Yeah, so what kind of things are you looking to do?
All right, well, got my notes here.
Hey, I need them. I'm not going to let you go and drift without them.
We have a bunch of notes. So the first thing, like this one was in the blog as well, I believe, is that quickness and slow are no longer going to affect stomping and resting. This is.
Thank you.
It's one of those things like we feel like death is sort of like one of those things that was just trivialized a lot of times, like either through quickness, like finishing somebody really, really quick, or through the
slow.
Or through like resurrection, where like you can just res somebody instantaneously every time.
All right, so that's not going to be a factor anymore.
Yeah, we wanted to like if you want to get somebody up, you have to like pile on and actually like res your allies that quickly, or you have to use your other like other means to like stomp somebody or res them.
And so that's with defensive abilities too, right?
Yeah. So and going on from that, quickness and slow, we have some new tech in. We have some new fun stuff to play with, and quickness and slow. Previously, they turned defensive abilities into faster defensive abilities, which is not really useful. Like slow, like
well, it depends on which end of them you're on.
Using quickness and using shield block is not ever really beneficial to you. So we've turned that time scaling off.
Okay.
For those abilities, for quite a few abilities. So things like your shield block, it won't be extended, but if you're slowed, or hastened if you're quickened. So, and a lot of that has gone through a lot of those different abilities. There are a few exceptions there, like in cases where you use something where some things are pseudo offensive and also defensive, like Blurred Frenzy, for example, for the Mesmer. That one we've left as those kind of abilities we've left as as affected by quickness or slow.
Okay, so it's just like pure defensive skills. Okay, awesome. And you were talking a little bit about PvP item changes?
Yes, this is this is a kind of a fun one. We are currently discussing and we're in testing.
I'm looking at it like, tell me all the things.
Modifying or removing some of the more defensive amulets from PvP.
Okay.
And in place, we're also investigating introducing some new amulets in there that are stat combos that you don't normally see.
Do we get
currently.
hints, or do we have to wait? You don't have to give hints if you don't want to.
I think we're gonna wait on that one just a little bit.
Okay. All right. Well, how about we jump into the professions and start breaking it down? Can we start with Guardian?
Okay.
So on Guardian, at the high level on the blog post, you commented you wanted to update the traits and abilities to be a little more useful. Let's see, what else? Have a more meaningful impact when you equip them. Dragon Hunter's pretty good, but maybe a little too effective with burst and disruption. I love the understatement there.
It's quite strong in a few of those disruptive areas.
Yeah. So tell me more.
So to start off, we're going to go through a couple baseline things. Since we removed quickness slow from defensive stuff, we wanted to give Guardian a little bit something extra to help revive. So Protective Reviver is now going to actually add an increase in res speed.
Okay.
So that's kind of a small thing that
so
we
it's
added
a little
onto
increase.
It. Yeah. Other things baseline, the smite conditions. Guardian is kind of falling behind a little bit in terms of its condition removal. It's either bursty or not very frequent, and it just needs a little bit more kind of spread out over through its
one might say balance
area. Yeah. through its tool set. So with that smite condition, we've increased the number of conditions removed from 1 to 2. So now you're going to be able to use that with the utility skill and with the Smiter's Boon, I believe that's what it's called.
Okay.
So a few extra condition removals in very specific areas for the Guardian.
Nice.
My headset's falling off. Yeah.
Sorry.
All right.
I'm using this myself.
Yeah.
Test of Faith.
Yeah. So on to the Dragon Hunter. Test of Faith is the ring that creates a ring that enemies who pass through it are damaged. We also right before our Heart of Thorns released, we added a little bit of damage onto the when the swords come up, damages everything in the area. Originally, this was 66% of the full damage you would take if when crossing the threshold. It feels a little bit too spike oriented at this point. So we're kind of taking that back down. It's going down to 50%. Of the full damage. It's not a huge damage loss overall because you're generally trying to push and pull enemies through it. But
it sounds like you're just bringing it a little more into line.
A little bit more in line.
Yeah.
The other thing is that Test of Faith.
More?
Yes.
Okay.
One more for the Dragon Hunter. The Piercing Light. This one was causing a little bit more disruption than we actually wanted to see out of this trait. So we've reduced the day's duration down from 1 second to half a second, and in addition to Test of Faith being unblockable, this had a little bit undesirable. It was not planned necessarily. It was planned, but then it was it's probably a little bit too much unblockable. So the piercing light will no longer daze enemies in an unblockable way.
Okay, so they have a fighting chance.
It's just gonna do the same thing that it does with every other trap.
Okay, sweet. Do you want to move on to the Necro?
Let's go through Necro a little bit later.
Okay, how about
There's gonna be some fun with this. Let's go with Engie.
Okay. Engineer was, let's see, improving less used traits, reworking some of the functionality for the scrapper traits. Drink your water and I'll talk a little longer. For core specializations, you're looking at improving traits to create impactful choices and make each build more distinctive.
Yes.
Tell me things.
All
the things about the engineer.
Yeah, so I wanted to give a few traits a little more oomph to them. So things like Power Wrench, the recharge reduction, it was 20% before. We felt like this trait was a little bit more unique to itself in that it's more like the Elementalist traits that reduce an entire an entire line.
Okay.
So we wanted to increase the recharge reduction on this from 20% to 33%. So things like So for Power Wrench, that entire toolkit was going to have a 33% increase reduction.
Okay.
So,
All right.
other things, takedown round, the damage is going up by 33%. So it's it's a nice, it's a hefty strike now.
Yeah.
Onto the Scrapper.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we felt like the defensive ability of this guy was just a little bit too strong.
Okay.
And it's just a little bit too it's
A little too much.
too much in terms of like being active like frequently. So we wanted to space that out just a little bit. So things like Rocket Charge, going to have an increased recharge by 2 seconds, going from 10 to 12. And then Stealth Gyro itself, we felt like this one was kind of outside of the standards by quite a bit, and so we've increased the recharge of Stealth Gyro from 20 to 40 seconds.
Fine.
Yep, I know.
All right. While I pout, do you want to go on to the Necro? Are you good?
Yeah.
Because
let's talk about
that's
one.
the decision I made, was that we were going to do Necro next.
All right, that's cool.
Necro, we're going to improve a few of the elite spec traits and working with the baseline shroud to give it more functionality.
There's also another aspect onto this that we wanted to talk about, and that is its ability to deal and play with boons. And a lot of it, like the Necromancer, doesn't necessarily get a gigantic amount of boons, and that's kind of the design of the characters, that it's a very, very self-inclusive. But they do like to corrupt. They do like to hate on the boons quite a bit, and so we want to help push them just a little bit more in that direction. So. A couple changes. Not going to list all of them. There are a few more than this, but
Yeah, that's actually kind of important to note. Let me interrupt really quickly. Is that we're not giving you. This is not like a full list of patch notes.
No.
This is a preview. So carry on.
Yeah. So first off, let's just go big. Corrupt boon. The ability. We're reducing the amount of boons converted from 5 to 3.
Okay.
The recharge is being reduced from 40 seconds to 15.
I'm doing math in my head really fast. Like, okay, what can I do with this?
Yeah, so it's going to massively increase the amount of boons you can.
Yeah, you're moving faster
corrupt.
now.
You're going to be able to corrupt them more frequently. Like pick out like, oh, that guy has stability. Get it.
Now he doesn't.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. Instead of like corrupting a large swath of boons at once.
Okay.
And another one we're playing with right now is Putrid Curses. The Scepter Auto Attack 3 converts 1 boon. Along with its innate effects. So every third attack, you're going to be corrupting 1 boon on a target. It's pretty strong there.
I'm kind of like in conditions right now.
Yeah. Some general trait upkeep. Things like Unyielding Blast no longer adds piercing, and then Life Blast and Plague Blast now pierce by default. So there's just kind of quality of life stuff there.
Nice. All right. You ready to move on?
Yeah. Let's keep going. Okay.
I am sorry.
No worries.
Hugh put it on upside down a few weeks ago. If you want to.
I don't think I can do that right now.
Okay. Yeah. Stop everything.
It's gonna be. Hold on, guys.
Yeah. Stop everything while we screw with the headset. All right. At the high level, the LA fine-tuning the defensive side, improving the offense. Diamond Skins moving to a Condi removal, and Air Grandmaster traits getting some improvements, and Scepter and Focus getting quality of life modifications.
Yes. So I guess there's quite a bit of stuff to.
That's a lot.
There.
So where do we start?
Let's go through it. Diamond Skin. We talked about this in the blog, going from immunity to removal, and this is basically going to now remove 1 condition on a 1 second internal cooldown while you're above the health threshold, and the health threshold has been reduced from 90% to 75%. So it means that spike conditions are really going to hurt you, like rapid Condi application. So you're going to have to keep your health high.
Yeah. But
you do have a little bit more play to it now.
All right.
Auras. So all ability activated auras. So the reasoning behind this, is that the duration and the overall like availability of auras has kind of gone up a little bit with the release of Heart of Thorns and how the Tempest is working, and all that is good and well. But the overall uptime of a lot of auras is just a little bit too high, and so actually on quite a few different auras, and so
I wasn't gonna wait a minute.
Yeah. So with that, we're going to be reducing all of the auras activated from skills and traits. This is not not items, runes,
Okay,
that kind
okay.
of thing.
Yeah.
But skills and traits reduced down to, or increased actually in some cases, up to 4 seconds. So it's going to be right there, and so
Okay.
you're going to be playing off of 4-second intervals of auras now.
Awesome. About fresh air.
All right, let's talk about fresh air. This is it's at an added functionality, and so in addition to its refresh mechanic, every time you reattune to air, you're going to be gaining a 250 ferocity bonus
All right.
on top of it. So you're going to be critting and then critting hard. This bonus doesn't stack in intensity. It's basically like you get in there, you have 5 seconds or so to use that ferocity, and then it goes away. You'll want to be switching out frequently and going back and forth and using your lightning bolts everywhere. I've been playing with this a lot, actually.
You look like you're having so much fun with it.
It was. All right. Some other stuff. We wanted to do this for a while, but now we've actually got a chance to do it. Shatterstone reduce the time for the ability to explode from 2 seconds to 1. So previously it's like, I'm going to put this thing down. It's really small radius, then the guy's over there and it exploded. Now, why am I using this skill?
I may have done that a few times.
Yeah, so it's gone down from 2 to 1 seconds. So it's usable more frequently and actually has a lot better chance to hit. Cooldown's been increased from 2 to 3 seconds, just kind of because of that reliability going up.
Okay. Awesome. All right, so that's our sneak peek at the Ellie.
Yeah.
All right, Stefan, pay attention because we're going to talk about the Mesmer next. Mesmer, you're bringing Alacrity back in line a little bit and still making it useful.
Yes.
And improving the scepter.
So, a couple things. I guess we'll talk about Alacrity first. This is kind of a general change. It affects a large area of the game. Pretty much every
all the things.
All the game completely. PvP, Rovos World, and PvE raids, fractals everywhere. Yeah. So this buff in particular was increasing the overall kind of damage output by too large of a value. It was basically you had a Mesmer or you had like 66% damage loss, sort of that not particularly but
it's okay. You can be straight about that. Yeah.
So we wanted to bring this down just a little bit more, so it was still impactful to bring a Mesmer, and we didn't want to. What we didn't want to do is we didn't want to like reduce the amount of Alacrity, because that just means you bring more Mesmers in order to cover the.
That's all right. We have more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In order to cover the gaps. So what we want to do is we brought Alacrity down from 66% to 33%.
Okay.
In order to kind of bring it in more in line.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah, it's still quite effective, I gotta say.
Yeah, it's still. You didn't want to just make it useless. Okay. All right, so that's what's up with
Next up,
Alacrity.
Well of Precognition. And the well is going to be going from Invulnerability, which is kind of proven to be breaking a lot more scenarios than we would have liked. Is going from Invulnerability to applying Aegis every second or
pulse?
so. Yeah,
Okay.
every pulse or so. I think it's 3 seconds.
Okay. 3 seconds of Aegis
every
pulse.
Yeah.
Okay.
That means you can carry it further. You can like have the well down on you, and if you aren't struck, then you get to keep the Aegis and move on for a little bit.
Okay.
The Malicious Sorcery. So that was precog. With Malicious Sorcery, the attack speed increase. This trait applies an attack speed increase while wielding a scepter, and so we increased the attack speed increase from 15% to 20%.
Okay.
And then another, I guess the final area for Mesmer is going to be there's a lot of changes going in. There's actually a lot of buffs, but I wanted to talk about these in specific because these are kind of areas that we're going to see. The Mesmer is going down a little bit in defense.
Okay.
And general offensive output.
Okay. So chaos
via Alacrity. So Chaos Armor, the defensive nature of this was like swing, blind my enemy, swing, and then the enemy misses again. And so like the Chaos Armor, it felt like the blind application was just a little bit too odd in the way that this armor was supposed to behave. So now the armor is going from blind to weakness instead.
Okay.
So you're going to just be taking less damage in general. And then with that, the swiftness and confusion durations have been increased from 3 to 5 seconds.
Nice. All right, so that's our sneak preview of the Mesmer.
Yep.
and bringing
More to
back
come.
under control.
Yeah.
Yes, more to come. Let's see. All right, how about Ranger? Ranger,
Yeah.
to increase the options on some of the Ranger's less used traits, give the specialized traits a little bit more allure, and improving
shouts.
the shout utility
Shouts.
category.
I can't shout because that'll be bad for
You can shout a little bit if you want, but not
Shouts.
like, yeah, you can whisper shout. Druid's viability in group scenarios, making changes where necessary, as you keep an eye on that. And looking in the future at how to improve the Ranger's ties to their pets and to nature.
Mm-hmm.
All right, take it away.
All right. Well, we have like kind of like 4 notes per or so per profession. So
yeah,
like,
there's like a lot. There's a lot of ground covered there
yeah.
for now and the future.
We can't necessarily cover all those in
In an hour.
in
That's just
in
one
this
of the
amount of time.
professions.
So for now, let's talk about a couple of the shouts.
Yeah.
Search and rescue. This previously
happy about the
I
shouts.
like this. I'm a fan of this one personally because I'm like, oh, I get to be kind of ninja like. Search and rescue. It's been reworked, and it now commands
Whoa.
your.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I just now looked at it.
A
So
little squee. It's now you're gonna shout and give allies regeneration, but if there's a downed ally in the area, and right now we're testing this at like the 1200 range.
okay.
If there's an ally downed in the area and your pet's alive, your pet is going to go to them.
Get the dead guy.
Yeah, they're going to be like, I see a downed guy over there. Going to go grab them and pull them to you and
So
start
they
reviving
teleport him in,
Yes.
and then they start reviving.
Yes.
Nice. And it grants regeneration to allies at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I want to play with this. I never play my Ranger.
It's
so
pretty fun to like, kind of like yoink somebody over to you.
Right?
Yeah. It's
Alright,
good.
yeah,
It's
I
a
wanna
little
try
bit.
this.
It's a little bit similar to how the transfusion works with the Necromancer, but I gotta say it's more focused, and
Okay.
it's a little bit wider area.
Nice. All right.
Um,
Yeah. So you're testing it at 1200.
Yeah, we're testing it at a very wide area at this point.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah.
Alright.
How
How about give me another pet thing?
protect me? Protect me!
Well,
Uh,
I can't. I'm over here, but
The shout. So it's going to protect me is now going to break stun on nearby allies, giving you protection, granting you protection, and then it's going to cause the next foe that attacks you to be taunted by your pet.
okay.
So it's kind of like a breakaway and keep your enemies away from you for a period of time,
Okay.
while you get to pelt them in the back.
Thank you, helpful pet.
Yes.
I appreciate that. All right.
All right. Hidden barbs, some kind of just upkeep stuff, and in general quality of life improvements. Hidden barbs, the bleeding damage increase has gone from 20% to 33%.
Okay.
So bonus damage on those
More
on
conditions.
those bleeds.
All the bleeding.
Yes.
All right.
And then Predator's Onslaught has gone from 10% damage bonus for you and your pet toward inhibited targets to 15%.
Nice. All right.
Yep.
So that's range preview.
Yes.
We have I can't help but notice we have a lot of professions.
Mhm.
I'm just like scrolling through going, what's next? Oh gosh. All right, so Revenant. Focus specialization through trait and legend choices. We're going to tone down the Revenant's sword damage in some areas, adjust the weapon's abilities to focus on singling out and attacking enemies, and watching defensive abilities.
Mhm.
All right, tell me things.
All right. So this isn't on there. I kind of like I forgot about it or not.
You are
but-
allowed to do that. It's okay.
So the sword auto attacks, they're going down anywhere between. Well, this is why I didn't put it on there. They're
So
going
a lot
down.
or a little?
10% ish.
Okay. Ish.
I mean,
The
yeah.
ish is important.
There's a variance in there. So like, the first auto attack's going down by around 10%. The second auto attacks was kind of a lot higher damage than it would have been. It's going down by 20%
Okay.
or so. And then the third auto attack, it's still going to keep its explosive nature on it. It's going down by, I think, maybe 10%.
Okay.
That sort of thing. I just want to bring this in because we're going to be talking about a couple of the other things.
Okay.
So with that said, we're going to be putting some of the damage back into things like Precision Strike, while also toning down the overall uptime of Unrelenting Assault. So second, I guess Precision Strike. It's going to be. This has been reworked a bit, and will now always fire 3 targets. Fire up to 3 projectiles. Fire 3 targets. It's going to shoot.
That would be amazing.
Shoot cows or something like that.
Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
Yeah. We're going to shoot moose out of your sword.
Oh, we haven't murdered a moose. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We'll have
Carry
to
on.
find one.
Precision Strike.
So, if you have a lot of the goal of this weapon is that it kind of helps single out enemies and rewards you greatly for actually attacking just a single target. You're an assassin with this thing. So Precision Strike is always going to launch 3 projectiles. It means that if there are 3 people around, you're going to hit 3 of them.
Okay.
If there are 2, it's going to split the projectiles between the 2. If there's 1, all 3 of those projectiles are going to go hit the same target.
Okay.
Let's see. On top of that, and we did have to reduce the chill duration slightly. It's gone from 2 seconds to 1.5 per target.
Okay.
Or per projectile. Let's see here. Next up, Unrelenting Assault. We reduced the number of strikes down from 7 to 5, and increased the damage of each strike by 10%.
Okay.
This also had some.
Condensed.
Yeah. And this is one of those skills that was kind of a weird midway of like, in terms of like the animation scaling stuff, like time, quickness and slow, and so like the attack. So the initial part you can still engage in quickness, but the secondary part it didn't actually give you any benefit for quickness or slow. But if you were under the effects of slow, like you had a chance to not strike, and so you would just deal no damage while under the effects of slow. So this one's no longer affected by that.
Okay. Sweet.
Facet of Light. Oh, there's 2 other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about Facet of Light. So Facet of Light was kind of like, yeah, this is going to be kind of a big one. The initial activation of the facet, not the secondary portion, is going to have a cast time. This was like one of those things where you can be like stunned, launched, anything under control and activate this facet. It was an effective stun, basically a stun breaker for you because you didn't have to worry about any of the damage coming in. In fact, you wanted it to come in at that point. So we wanted you to like preemptively activate this thing. Actually, start your energy drain. Have made a commitment toward this heal before being able to use it.
Okay.
Other things, Coalescence of Ruin.
Oh, Coalescence of Ruin.
Yeah. This ability
I didn't mean it like that.
Had a low cooldown on it. It turns out it doesn't necessarily need that low of a cooldown.
Okay.
It deals a lot of damage. It's a fairly high damage ranged weapon, and we wanted to sort of pace this out a little bit better. And so the cooldown's gone from 2 to 4 seconds.
Okay.
We've also fixed a bug. Well, made it so it doesn't double hit things on like you. Right now you can be standing in the seam of like one attack to the other, and you'll get hit by both of them.
Ow.
Yeah. So and it's a large amount of damage. So
I've heard.
That's another thing that we've fixed with this update.
All right. So we have 2 left. We have Thief and Warrior.
Yeah.
Show 'em in game.
Yeah.
All right. And look, there's your Thief
Yay,
all set.
Thief.
Yay.
I wonder if I actually have the trait set up.
Oh, that's an excellent question.
Oh,
Let's
there
find
goes
out.
the headset
There it
again.
goes.
Sorry about that.
We need to get
With this
Carl
much hair, I
fancy.
should have like. Let's just weave it in there.
Have we only had it like
we
on
go.
Hugh and bald guys? I'm not sure. I mean, we had it on McLain, and he was fine.
Well, I'm on McLain.
I know. We didn't realize that until like 20 minutes before the show.
All right, so let's go look
So
at
are
the.
you good?
Yeah, we're good. I'm just gonna change this build up real quick.
Yeah, sure.
So Fleet Shadow's gone. It's been replaced with instant reflexes, and so you're gonna get if you're struck below the health threshold, 50%, you're gonna gain evasion for 2 seconds. This is basically like kind of a get out of jail free card. And you. Yes.
Cool.
that look.
It
So you're
was
gonna
a
be able
happy
to,
face.
when you get hit with something, you'll be able to recover. And our goal for this line is to actually boost the regenerative abilities of the Thief. Remove conditions more frequently. Actually have like some regenerative feel to it. Increase your endurance regeneration. So a lot of that has been. There's been a few changes on top of that. Assassin's Reward, and a few. There's a few other things that we've touched on.
Okay.
Not everything is. We were doing some integrations and stuff like that. Not everything has been merged over just yet.
That's okay.
So.
But the general goal on the Thief is drastically improving Thief's melee auto attacks to make sustained damage, and plus initiative very dangerous, which I love the sound of, and improvements and reworking on the acrobatics line.
Yeah, let me go back over to. Wait, how do we work this? Battle theft. Oh, that looks out of hand. Alright, just put the build back the way it was. Alright, so that's happening. So we're going to see Basilisk Venom. It's going to... So this is a kind of a fun thing that we wanted to like help push the Thief toward kind of an unblockable, really assassin style. Basilisk Venom is now going to make all your attacks unblockable. So while this is on you, your next attack...
Your
Yeah.
enemy's just standing there.
Yeah, if they're blocking, you're going to be able to hit them. And this is kind of cool because it also applies to things like Venomous Aura. So you're going to be able to make all of your allies' attacks unblockable for a period of time.
I really like Venom Share. I know it's not trendy anymore, but I do like Venom Share, so this makes me super happy.
Yeah. Let's see here. On top of that, yes, Withdrawal is going to get his 10% increase. One of those things that we've been talking about for a little while. Let's see here. Other than that, let's go talk about in the blog we talked about increasing the auto attacks.
Yeah.
And we're just making them more like higher, like feeling like they are higher damage and having
more
a
scary.
very yes.
I
So
like it,
with the sword,
let's see.
right now I have quickness on me, so it doesn't really count. So the damage for the sword hasn't changed, but the frequency of the attacks has.
Okay.
So its
and
damage
not just
is
because you have quickness on you.
Yeah, not just because you have quickness. So what we're going to see with the sword is that its damage is going to be increased by, probably about 30% or so, maybe about that. We've done some quality of life changes here as well. Black Powder's gotten the aftercast removed just a little bit.
Okay.
Dagger auto attacks have gone up in damage. I'm not sure what my build is right now. I'm going Berserker. And other things we want to talk about. Oh yeah, Bandage defense for the Daredevil has actually changed a little bit as well. You're going to be able to block for the full duration this time, for a full 1.5 seconds. Def Hacks. Gonna make this guy use a skill on us.
All right. Okay. I thought you were spawning a moose. I got excited.
Oh no.
It's okay. Go ahead.
So there's that. He's gonna deliver an attack. So now you get to block for the full duration.
Okay.
And then you have the access to that snap kick. And that's basically how it's gonna go.
Awesome.
It would.
Okay, now you're just whispering people.
There we go.
Oh, hey, thank you.
There's the moose.
It's the guild chat moose. Was this
That's
just
spam.
for my personal edification, or are we looking at something?
This is just for you.
Thank you. Poor moose. All right, so
all right, there we go.
let's see. We looked at Basilisk
Sorry about
Venom. We
that.
looked at Bandit's defense. Never apologize for spawning a moose on this show. Has to be done. Let's see. Fleet Shadow.
Yeah, that was the first
Yeah,
one
that
we talked about
was
with the acrobatics.
and Slice.
And Slice was the sword thing. I went a little bit out of order here. And similarly, Staff has had some damage increases as well. Yes.
Yay.
Yes.
You knew when we got to Thief I was going to start making happy faces
Yeah.
at you, so.
All
right, she's
I guess
doing her growl
going
impression.
back to the overall goal of the thief was it's not to make the auto attacks more efficient than your initiative spenders, but give you a little bit more option to keep your damage up. Right now, if you choose to use your auto attacks instead of using your initiative, you lose your damage really quickly.
Right.
So it's more of like helping you keep your offense up while
Yeah. Not just standing there auto attacking.
in the case that you need to use it defensively, you have it, and you're not going to lose too much damage off of it.
All right, but the thief's got a good toolbox, so encourage her to kind of dip into that a little bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of instances, actually most instances, where it's more useful to actually use your initiative spenders to damage rather than auto attack. So I wouldn't recommend just auto attacking.
Yeah. All right. As much as I hate to, let's move on to warrior. And it's not that I hate the warrior; it's that the thief is fun for me. Wow, he's really huge.
Nah, he's just got the armor.
His armor is very huge.
All right.
All right. So there's a lot going on with the warrior. So I'll just let you run and have fun with this one.
All right.
Tell me all the things.
So for this guy, we want to increase his overall healing just a little bit, his defensive nature. And we're going to be doing this through skill cooldowns, through healing, self-healing, and through some other stuff, some other fun stuff, which we'll talk about in just a moment.
Okay.
So I guess an example of that, let's see if we have a build. Oh, we do have a build. To the limit had its healing increased by 40%.
Yep.
Let's do that.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you can be able to get a larger health pool back. The other heals have similarly had their heals increased by a certain margin. It's basically a lot of it's healing over time of where you get to, like this heal is now. It's a lot more competitive than it used to be.
right.
Healing Signet has had its heal increased by about 20 health per second. Mending similarly has had its healing increased a bit more, and Adrenal Health you're also going to see be increased by about 15%.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the heels got a going over.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go back to the game real quick.
Okay. Let's see.
Some other quality of life stuff. You'll see some damage increases. You'll see some aftercasts improved. So right here we're gonna have throw axe. You're gonna be able to activate skills a lot quicker. So there are a lot of aftercasts that were a little bit less necessary. So you're gonna be able to use things faster, more damage, and also Cycle and Axe. We had previously split it between PvP and PvE, with the dealing less damage in PvE. We've unsplit that now.
Okay.
So it'll do more damage there.
Is it like meeting? Okay. I was like, is it meeting in the middle, or which way do we go with that?
Yeah.
All right. So this was part of you. You commented that you wanted to kind of look at the warrior's baseline abilities and adjust some things, and this is part of that.
Yeah. So I think we'll look at the warrior in a moment here.
Okay.
Oh, I'm in combat. Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
I just made an apothecary rifle.
I keep getting stuck in
I am
combat
so good
too.
at
You have
this.
to like run super far away.
Yeah, we're good.
Um.
All right. See if this has the changes here. All right.
It's like the watch Carl shoot things hour.
So
It's a good show.
we did a bit of rework on the rifle. You're gonna see crack shot. It no longer grants piercing by default, and it will still instead it will apply additional adrenaline for rifle shots for the warrior. Let's go see what we got here. Actually, let's go to the PvP build. All right.
It's like build making with Carl.
Yeah, build making.
You know what? While you do that, I will
anyway.
I'll save you some time while you make your build, and I'll just run through the very short version
All right.
of what you had.
Let's watch
while you
Rubi.
make your build. Well, we don't have to do that. We can still watch you make your build. Let's see. Give you more to play with in a single weapon set, so cooldowns feel more active and fun. Rifles getting the rework to make it more defensive while still retaining its overall purpose. I actually put here while still retaining its overall purpose, and in parentheses I put death.
Yes.
So, yeah. We're going to take another pass at improving Berserker to make it more usable in various game modes and improve the warrior's ability to sustain itself in combat. So
we talked about a bit about the sustainability so
Yeah.
far. So here's I put Crackshot on. This is going to give you bonus adrenaline per rifle shot, and so
Okay.
let's go use our adrenaline now.
wow.
Oh yeah, that's right. We also have restored adrenaline.
Popped right up there.
Bam! Oh no, I missed it. I'm so bad at this. All right.
And how about
so-
piercing on that?
Yeah, so piercing is now default. So you're not gonna on a few select skills. So volley is gonna pierce. I'd still suggest targeting the furthest enemy away. Kill shot now going to pierce. And I think that's it for this one. But the fourth ability, brutal shot, is now also going to roll you back. So you're going to be able to maintain distance a little bit better. So, say you get in close, you're going to use your brutal
Whoa.
shot, give him a little immobilized there, and kill shot him in the face. I would suggest a little bit of condition duration so you can land a full kill shot from brutal shot.
Nice.
So, that's all I think we got for now. Oh, no, wait. We have another thing. I'm just going to talk about this one.
Yeah, go for it. I love
so-
that you're standing there like, just get back up.
Yeah,
I dare you.
let's do it.
All right, so all the rifle things.
Yeah. So Berserker, King of Fires. The trait's functionality has changed, and it's now going to give a fire shield on critical hit with a cooldown of 15 seconds. And using Berserker skill is going to detonate any fire aura that's on you. And it's going to put 3 stacks of burning on nearby enemies for 3 seconds. So basically, you're going to be able to use anything that gives you a fire aura, like a leap combo or
Yeah.
something like that, and you're going to be able to shatter it off of yourself with any Berserker skill.
The trait is it's just so aptly
Yeah.
named.
King of Fires.
We really like
Burn!
fire for the
Yes.
for the warrior.
And in general, rage skills have had their adrenaline gain improved. So,
So
I know I kind of
that's-
glossed over the warrior rifle changes. I guess we could talk about
Do you
them a
wanna go
little
back
bit more.
and-
Like
Yeah.
I've got the full notes. So I'm just like, let's do this.
Totally okay.
Yeah. So
Alright.
aim shot now is going to apply 5 stacks of vuln for 8 seconds. The damage of the ability is been increased by 28%. Volley pierces by default. Brutal shot evades you backwards. So numbers on it's like about 400 distance. And immobilizes for 1.5 seconds. Kill shot pierces by default. Repeating shot pierces by default, and forceful shot pierces by default. Those are underwater skills. So
Okay.
they're a little bit less used. So that's what's going to happen with the rifle.
All right. That was an enormous preview.
Yeah.
Do you have any final things that you want to add aside from, dear God,
Sorry,
please
I
don't
keep
make me
touching
wear
my
this headset again?
Yeah.
I'm really sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you want to cover before we wrap up? You don't have to. I'm just offering.
Yeah, we weren't able to cover all the notes today, and I'm looking forward to all of the notes going
Yeah.
out. It's quite a large amount.
Yeah, there's a lot more, but
Yeah,
neither of us
we're
wanted to
really
make
looking
y'all
forward to
sit
that.
here for 4 hours. Neither of us wanted to sit here for 4 hours.
Yeah.
This was not a thing we were going to do. All right, so there's our patch preview of just the update notes. We have a lot coming on the 26th. And this is on January 26th. This isn't like, hey, here's the thing I want to do maybe at some point in the future.
I'd recommend logging in and checking them out.
I really, really think you should log in and check all the things out. We will have the full list of all of those when the update notes go live. That's pretty much it for today. I really appreciate you I know you are so busy, so I really appreciate you taking an hour to come in and hang out.
It's all good. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, except for the headset. Sorry.
Well, the headset's interesting. I'll have to figure this out. I'm
That's
sure
it is
there's a way.
sentient, and it wants to like leave and go play the game. I don't even know. Stick around for On Point, which is live as soon as we are wrapping up here. Jebro and Hurix have a couple of guests. Helseth and Sunfish are on with them today, so they're going to be interviewing them. Right after On Point, Nerd Kitten is on for the post show. So hang out for them. Don't forget to follow us on our Twitch channel so you're alerted to the broadcasts.
Somebody. You want to go back to the game real quick?
What is that? Yeah, go take a look. No, come back here. We saw you. It's too late. Save the moose.
Somebody showed up. Save the moose.
I like that they just like RP walked right right beside you.
Okay. Anyway.
All right, we got to find out later who that is. Quick, make a character
That
that
was
says
awesome.
no. The moose must die. All right, so
You're gonna fight me.
On Point up next. We're gonna 1v1 this guy. All right.
Yeah, let's go.
On Point up next. You guys do. They're just waving. This is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
You wait.
We will see you guys next week. We will have an update on next Friday's guild chat, and we'll have a little preview of the update that's coming on the 26th. So hang out for On Point next, and I will see you next week. Bye, guys.
See you later.